Welcome. Happy Friday. Yes, it is. Welcome to Juicy and Raw, the podcast where self discipline meets self love. This is a space for honest conversations about nourishment, growth, boundaries, and becoming the kind of person who actually shows up for yourself. Hey, sunshine. Here we talk about plant based living, raw foods, juicing mindset, and the daily practices that support real healing. Not perfection, not extremes, and definitely not punishment disguised as wellness. Because taking care of yourself is not about restriction, it's about intention, it's about consistency, and it's about choosing what truly supports your body, your mind, and your life. If you are ready to build discipline without self judgment, to love yourself enough to be honest, and to create habits that feel aligned instead of exhausting, you are in the right place. This is Juicy and Raw. Let's start with a sentence that sounds simple, simply sunshine, and then quietly changes how you move through the world. If it doesn't evolve me, it doesn't involve me. Not because you're better than anyone, not because you're above things, not because you're trying to be untouchable or superior or high vibrations only, but because you're done leaking energy into places that don't nourish your growth. This episode is about discernment, not detachment, not isolation, but discernment. It's about recognizing that just because something is familiar, just because something is comfortable, just because something is available, it does not mean it deserves your participation. And if that already feels uncomfortable, good. That tells me we are in the right place. Hey, Purple. Most people don't stay stuck because they don't know better. They stay stuck because they stay involved in conversations that don't go anywhere, involved in dynamics that recycle the same patterns, involved in environments that reward stagnation, involved in versions of themselves they've already outgrown. Hey, Mo3, they call it loyalty. Yeah, sometimes we call it patience. Sometimes we call it being low maintenance or realistic, but often it's just avoidance, wearing a nicer name. Here's something we don't talk about enough: every involvement has a cost. Yeah. Every room you walk in asks something of you. Every chat room you walk into asks something of you. Let me reframe that. Every conversation takes a slice of your attention. Every commitment pulls on your nervous system, your time, your creativity, your capacity, your currency. We're going to talk about that too, how our energy is our currency. And if something isn't contributing to your evolution, if it's not stretching you, refining you, nourishing you, or clarifying you, then it's quietly extracting from you, draining you, sucking your energy, not violently, not dramatically, but slowly, bit by bit. You might not even know it. The pain of 1,000 cuts, teeny tiny cuts. You're going to bleed out. Let's clear this up right now because social media has lied to everyone. Evolution is not always inspiring, it's not always aesthetic or peaceful. Sometimes evolution feels like boredom with conversations you used to enjoy, irritation in environments you once felt at home in. A low grade restlessness you cannot explain. Thank you, Purple Haze. Sometimes evolution feels like a sense that something is off, even if nothing is technically wrong. That's not you being ungrateful. That's not you being dramatic. That's not you thinking, oh, I'm better now. That's growth asking for new conditions. And here's the uncomfortable part: growth does not ask politely forever. Eventually, it asks through discomfort, through resentment, through fatigue, through that feeling of, I can't keep go. Oh, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep going there. I just can't do this no more. So when you say, if it doesn't evolve me, it doesn't involve me, you're not rejecting life. You're responding to it. This might be the most important thing I say today. Familiar does not mean align. It just means you know how to survive there. You know what to expect. You know the rules. You know how to shrink, perform, or adapt. And because your nervous system recognizes it, it feels safe, even when it's not supportive. A lot of people confuse comfort with compatibility. Oh, a lot of people confuse comfort with compatibility. They say, but this is how it's always been. But they've known me forever. I don't want to start over. But what if I'm wrong? Let me be clear, gently but firmly. And I mean this. Outgrowing something does not mean it was bad. It just means it did its job. You don't keep wearing clothes that no longer fit just because they once looked good on you. At least I hope you don't. Let's talk about discipline because this is juicy and raw, and we are not going to pretend discipline is punishment. Self discipline isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you decline. Greetings, Barry. Self discipline is about saying, I don't need to weigh in on every conversation. I don't need to attend every gathering. I don't need to respond to every message immediately. I don't need to stay involved just to prove something. That's not avoidance. That's intentional restraint. We just talked about boundaries in the previous episode. Restraint is one of the most underappreciated skills in a world that rewards constant engagement. Just because you can be involved does not mean you should be. Just because you can be involved does not mean you should be. Just because you can be involved, it does not mean you should be. This is where people get confused. So let's separate some things. Patience supports growth. Stagnation protects comfort. It keeps you in that box. We're all comfortable in our little box. We don't want to step outside the box. Patience says, I'm allowing this to unfold and I'm still growing. Stagnation says, I'm waiting, but nothing is changing, including me. How you waiting on something to change and you not changing? You got to ask yourself, am I expanding here or am I just enduring? I love to ask you guys, are you business or are you busyness? Spell that out in the chat. Are you business or are you busyness? Am I learning or just tolerating? Am I choosing this or avoiding the discomfort of change? Whatever you're not changing, you choosing. These are not questions to judge yourself with. They're questions to orient yourself so you can know where you are, where you stand, where you need to change. Because if something requires you to keep numbing, shrinking, or postponing your evolution, it doesn't involve you anymore. Energy is currency. You better spend it wisely. Wherever your attention goes, wherever your focus goes, energy grows. We talk a lot about time management, but energy management is the real game. You can have hours in the day and still feel depleted. You can be busy and deeply unfulfilled. You can be involved in everything and connected to nothing. Every yes you give is an energetic investment. Every time you say yes, you're gifting your energy. Notice I said gifting. Sometimes I'll replace the word give with gift. So ask yourself, what's the return? Does this involvement sharpen me, soften me in a healthy way, challenge my patterns, support my becoming? Or does it drain me, distract me, keep me looping, rewarding an old version of me? You don't need to justify your answers to anyone. I'm just rhetorical questions. This is between you and your nervous system, your spirit. And it won't lie to you. Outgrowing does not make you disloyal. Let's address the guilt because I know it's there. A lot of people stay involved out of fear of being perceived as selfish, disloyal. Let me put my phone on do not disturb. People, you don't want them to think that you're ungrateful. You don't want them to think that you've changed. Like that's an insult. Is it? You are allowed to change. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to want different things. You are allowed to respond to who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Loyalty that requires self abandonment is not loyalty, it's fear. Okay, all this rhetorical talk and philosophical talk without application is just mental decoration. Selective involvement looks like, here we are, leaving conversations earlier instead of staying polite and resentful, leaving the chat room instead of staying out of politeness and resentfulness, saying, I'm not available for that without a long explanation. Guess what, guys? If you didn't tap into that first episode, saying no to what drains you is saying yes to what evolves you, to what sustains you, to what grows you. Choosing fewer commitments and honoring them fully. That's what selective involvement means. Spending more time in environments that stretch your thinking, provoke your thought, incite your insight. Allowing silence where you used to feel space. Put that phone down sometimes. It might feel boring at first, but chaos is stimulating. But stimulation is not the same as nourishment. Stimulation is not the same as nourishment. Your nervous system, it will adjust. Your clarity will sharpen. Your energy will return quietly, reliably. Here's another lie. Growth often requires subtraction. Growth is always about adding more. More habits, more routines, more goals, more information. Sometimes growth is about removal, removing unnecessary commentary, compulsive availability, low level obligations, constant input, removing. Subtraction creates space. And space is where integration happens. If your life is too full, nothing new can load, nothing new can land, nothing new can live there. I want you to reflect, not analyze, not justify, just notice. Where are you still involved out of habit, not intention? What feels complete but hasn't been acknowledged yet? Where are you staying because leaving feels uncomfortable? You don't need to make a move today. Awareness is the first act of discipline, the first act of love. I want to be very clear about something because the internet loves extremes. This is not about cutting everybody off or anybody in particular. This isn't about disappearing. It's not about being cold or unavailable or unbothered. It's about conscious engagement. You can love people and still limit involvement. You can appreciate a chapter without trying to live in it forever. You can honor what was out without forcing it to keep evolving you. Honor it. It was. That doesn't mean it's going to keep growing. Let it let it pass. It was a season. Maybe it was for a reason. Boundaries are not rejection. They're orientation. Here's what this looks like when it's embodied, not just understood. You feel calmer. You respond more slowly. You say less, but mean it more. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't invested in your growth. You start asking, does this support who I am becoming? Not in a harsh way, in a grounded way. And when the answer is no, you don't spiral. You simply disengage. You remove yourself. You step back. That's maturity. Just checking in. Just checking in. Relationships, work, purpose, habits, environment, even inner dialogue. Check in. Answer truthfully. Is this expanding me, maintaining me, or shrinking me? You can put it in a column if you want to. Write it down. Relationships. I'm talking about work, habits, your environment, what you listening to, what you watching, who you're in the relate, right? All of that. What's going on in your dome? Is it expanding me? Is it maintaining me? Or is it shrinking me? No moralizing, no self shaming. This is only data. We're only taking notes, not a personality indictment. If something has been the same for years and you're calling it stability, I regret to inform you that is stagnation in a dress, complacency in a bikini. Pick one thing you keep returning to out of familiarity. Just because you're familiar with it, why you keep returning to it? Ask yourself, am I choosing this because it's comfortable or because it's helping me become who I say I want to be, who I say I want to be? If the answer is comfort, that's fine. Comfort has a place. But stop pretending that it's helping your evolution. Words matter. Just one pattern you keep repeating: relationships, procrastination, overgiving, people pleasing, avoidance, settling, self doubt. What version of me does this pattern keep me stuck? Who would I have to become to outgrow this? What do I need to do? That's the work. That's the version of you knocking from the inside. Choose just one thing, one pattern. You're going to pause, you're going to reduce, you're going to release it. Which one? Reduce it, release it, put a stop to it. Tonight, this moon cycle, this month, the sooner the better. Intentional distance. Be intentional with it. Not dramatic. You don't have to make an announcement. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not coming here anymore. Don't look for me. Just pause. Release it. This my last post on Facebook. What? You can keep that to yourself. Less time with somebody who keeps you small. Less engagement with a habit that numbs instead of nourish. Is it numbing you or is it nourishing you? I ask you guys that all the time. Is this numbing me or is this nourishing me? Is this business or is this busyness? It doesn't require explosions. It just requires consistency. One choice at a time, one act at a time. For every no or release, guess what? You must choose a yes. So, what is one action that is going to support my growth tonight, today? Whenever you're listening to this, if you are on the replay and you have made it this far, I appreciate you guys in the room right now. It can be simple. Reading instead of scrolling, scoliosis. Reading instead of scrolling. Movement instead of rumination. Get up. 75 soft. Saying the honest thing instead of saying the easy thing. Resting without justifying it. It's okay. That's why we have a circadian rhythm. We're supposed to rest. There are times. I'm not talking about laying on the couch all day, scrolling on that phone, eating potato chips, though. Small aligned actions over grand, empty intentions. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Walk it like I talk it. Get you a journal. Where did you feel slightly uncomfortable but proud? Where did you notice yourself responding differently than you used to? That quiet shift, that's evolution. Not fireworks, not applause. Stop waiting on somebody to pat you on the back. It's just truth. Evolution doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it feels like grief for an old version of you. But stagnation, oh, it feels way worse. It just takes longer to notice. If it doesn't evolve you, question, why are you still carrying it? If it does evolve you, protect it like it's sacred. Do your homework. Now grow on. Grow on now. Or don't. But don't confuse comfort with destiny.